my favorite customer stole in front of me. And I'm so sad about it because this happened like a few weeks ago, but I forgot to talk about it. I'm so sad about it.
Today I'm going to tell you the story of the customer I had that made me quit my job. I was working at the furniture store, and listen, it's not that this customer was particularly bad in comparison to some other customers that I've had, like Dingus, but it was the final straw for me. This was the lady that made me go, I cannot fucking do this for another day. That being said, because I was teetering on the edge of a mental spiral, I did not handle this the way that is most appropriate. I'm just letting you know right now. So before you hit me in the comments with, well, you should have done, yeah, I know, but I didn't give a shit. So here we go. About 2 weeks before the story that I'm about to tell you, this is important, I promise. This woman came in and bought a big, giant, round armchair. And she cashed out with me, which is why you'll see. It's just so annoying. While she was cashing.
To the couple that just sold me this painting on Facebook Marketplace, this morning when you posted it for $80, I hit you up and I was like, hey, I know this is a total shot in the dark. Would you be willing to do 30? And you were like, we could do 50 as the lowest. And I was like, cool, I'm going to have to pass because I'm balling on a budget right now. But if there's anything that changes, you let me know. Well, you let me know that you'd be down for 30. I met you, picked it up, brought it home. And I'm like going to hang it up and a tiny little bug crawls out from it, which was weird. That is kind of an isolated circumstance that grossed me out, but I don't think it's an actual issue. Anyways, I turned the painting over and inside of it was a tiny tag that I squinted. I'm like, what is that? It was from Ross for $30. What are y'all doing on Marketplace?
If you've ever worked in customer service, you will feel me on this, so just hear me the fuck out, okay? Why is it that when a customer comes in and they have a problem, and they're polite and nice, but what their issue involves is against policy, we can't help them. We can't fucking break policy. We have to be like, nope, that's against our policy. And because they're nice and decent fucking human beings and not irritating, they'll be like upset, but they'll be like, okay, whatever, and they'll leave. But if someone comes in screaming, yelling, calling you slurs, yelling at you, yelling at your manager, fucking causing the biggest fucking scene, suddenly we can break policy. Suddenly we can break policy for this fucking loser. Because really think about it. If a kid is throwing a tantrum, do you give them candy to shut them the fuck up? No, because you're rewarding bad behavior. So why is it that when a grown ass adult throws a literal tantrum and is a little loser ass bitch, we reward them by giving them what they want? Is that the precedence that we're setting? That the only way you can get shit done is by being a bratty little bitch? Because that's what it seems like. And I don't agree with that.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, good.
I'm Victoria, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, perfect. Before we started, did you want to show me any like inspo pictures of what we're kind of going for?
I couldn't really find anything I like on your page, but my normal lash tag, this is like a picture that you could use, I guess.
Okay, yeah, you can show me it. Okay, is the fullness okay for you?
Yes.
Okay.
I like mega volume.
Okay, sounds good. You can start to lay down whenever you're ready. Do you mind scooting back a little bit with me? Do you have any plans for the weekend?
I prefer a silent appointment if that's fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Do you mind scooting back another inch towards me?
Can we keep it silent, please?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take off the excess lashes you have and then we'll get started, but it'll be a silent appointment. And what style did you want?
What don't you understand? I want a silent appointment.
Okay, sorry. I just need to know the style that you want to do.
I showed you a picture.
Okay, yeah, alright.
Okay, we just got in the car after closing, and I'm gonna tell you guys the story of what happened. I was telling it on live, but then my live got banned. So thanks for that, TikTok. So basically, this lady calls because we do Too Good To Go, and she was like, "Oh, I'm just calling to make sure you guys are doing Too Good To Go today." And I said, "Yes, we're doing Too Good To Go. Like as long as you place the order, just make sure you're here to pick it up by 7." So literally I wait at the doors. I'm like waiting for her to come. She doesn't come. I lock the doors. It's 7 o'clock. 7:01. I pull the tills out. Actually, it said I took the tills at 7:03, technically. So 7:03, I take the tills into the back room. And that's when I hear like this just like
Like, it was so, Devin, it was so loud. It was so fucking loud. And I tell the girls, like, don't, yeah, literally, it was, what the fuck do we do? What was that?
And yanking on the door.
Yeah, she's yanking, she's calling off the hook. The phone's like, ring, 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 hang up, ring, ring, like, nonstop. So I told everybody, like, get in the back because I don't want you guys on the floor. And then I shut all the lights off to the store. And I was like, okay, let's just pretend nobody's here and, like, maybe she'll go away. And then she did it. She kept, like, banging, like, and it was getting louder and, like, more aggressive. It was insane. So then I was like, okay, I need to get a video of this at least because in case she comes back, I have proof for, like, I don't know, corporate or just anything. At least I have proof that she was fucking out of her mind. So she banged for, like, 10 minutes. And then she left. And I'm okay. I'm in my car. It's fine. But maybe show up on time to get your order. I don't know.
Get ready with me while I tell you why I got fired. Fired an hour ago. Literally an hour ago. So basically on Sunday, me and my coworker were working with each other. And I worked at a restaurant. And at this restaurant, I would put to-go orders together and basically be where people pick up their food. At my work in the afternoon, a girl comes in at 4 and then the next girl comes in at 5. Basically, my shift was scheduled for at 5 o'clock and my lovely coworker was scheduled for 4 o'clock. I pull into the lot and I see my coworker who was scheduled for 4 o'clock. Basically, I give my coworker a little honk, not thinking that she was late. Anyway, she goes, oh my god, Jalissa, you're supposed to be here at 4. I'm like, no, I wasn't. Basically, we both check our shifts in the parking lot and she was an hour late for work. Anyways, we go inside. She apologizes to the manager that night. He's literally fine with it. He's smiling at her, saying it's fine. Anyways, the night goes on. We continue on with our shift. And basically, we just had a meeting, like, all of our coworkers and the managers. And they talked to us about, like, being on our phones and stuff and, like, how we're not supposed to be on them and how we shouldn't have them out and being late, da-da-da-da. It's dead up and counter. There's nothing going on. No one's picking up their orders or anything. Basically, there's no one there, right? I have my phone out. It's literally in front of me like this, behind the computer, and no one was there. I wasn't even on it. I was kind of just like looking at it. The manager that night has caught me on my phone many times in the past, and he pops up out of nowhere, sees my phone, he goes, it's super upset at me. Basically, I'm like, no, like I wasn't on my phone, and then I called him the wrong name. But that's not all. He gets super mad, he leaves.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the client that refused to leave my home. So this client had booked in for New Year's Eve and she was a new client. I'd never met her before. And usually on New Year's, it's kind of like regular clients that come. So yeah, she was a new client, never met her, booked her in, and fast forward to New Year. So she was my second to last appointment. Her appointment was around 4 p.m. I want to say, so it was quite late in the day. She turned up, she was lovely. She explained to me that she was new in the area and she'd only recently just moved here and that she struggled to find a makeup appointment. So we started her makeup and she wanted something nice and full glam, which we did. And she looked lovely, like she really loved the makeup. So fast forward to the end of the appointment, we finished her makeup and she was like, oh my god, loved it, like she was obsessed with it. And I said to her, how are you getting home? Is somebody picking you up? Because she was dropped here originally. So she said, oh, I don't know how I'm getting home. And I said to her, like, okay, like that's fine, like you can sit on my little sofa in my studio and arrange how to get home. Like bear in mind this was New Year's Eve, so her appointment was at 4 o'clock. She would have finished about 5. Like anyone who goes out on New Year's knows how impossible it is to get a taxi. Like she didn't know any taxi numbers, so I gave her some taxi numbers because she was new from the area. And yeah, I said just sit down on the sofa.
Hi sir, what can I get for you today? Yeah, can I just get one matcha latte for my wife? Oh yeah, of course, that'll be right out. Okay, and here's your matcha latte. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go bring this to my wife. Ma'am, my wife said there's something wrong with this matcha latte. It tastes like coffee. Oh, I am so sorry about that. I don't know why that happened. Let me go remake it for you. So I make his matcha latte again. And mind you, I was new to this job. I had never made a matcha latte before, had not been trained on matcha lattes. So I hear the word latte and I think espresso. So I put espresso in his matcha latte. Yes, I am so sorry about that, sir. Here is your matcha latte. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go run this out to my wife again. Ma'am, I don't know what's wrong with this. My wife said it tastes like coffee again. I think there's espresso in it. Can you try it? I'm sorry, you want me to try your coffee? Like, hand it back to me and have me taste it? Yeah, I promise, like, only my wife has had her mouth on this. I haven't touched it. Can you just try it? Sure. Yeah, I'm so sorry. This definitely does have espresso in it. Let me go remake it for you. So I make his matcha again. This time I didn't put espresso in it. Here you go, sir. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, yeah, this looks much better. Thank you so much. Why would I try a man's matcha latte? I don't know. I was maybe 1 month into my job. Had not ever made a matcha latte before. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to put espresso in it. I thought this guy was making a special request for a no espresso matcha latte. But, I've never tried a customer's drink ever again because that was weird. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a closing shift. I was ready to go home. I just wanted to finish this guy's drink and leave. I have a picture of the drink. This is the drink. That's the matcha latte with espresso in it. Doesn't that look disgusting? And I tried that. I'm not even blaming the customer, it was me being stupid. But actually, what is that? Disgusting. I don't even know why I thought that was, like, okay to hand out to a customer or drink. But you live and you learn.
A few months ago, I told you the story about the 3 older women who, like, absolutely attacked us. Like rabid animals, because I charged one of them for a bag. Well, they came back, right? And as usual, the regular one was as unpleasant as ever. She didn't say thank you, so I said you're welcome, and she tutted at me. But number 2, the demon one, right, puts down all her stuff. Again, they're doing their normal, not speaking to us, having a full-on conversation to themselves instead of me. But I just thought, you know what, I know what you're like, so I'm going to leave you to it. Anyway, I scan everything, I pop it in the bag, it's on the counter, I'm waiting for her to pay, right? And she starts looking through her bag to get her purse out. Guess what happened, guys? Take a guess. The purse was gone. Nowhere to be seen. Panic ensues and the drama begins. Everything from her handbag gets emptied onto the counter, including bloody tissues. Keep that in mind. All over the counter, right? She was ransacking her stuff. They didn't say one thing to me during this whole time. Like, she didn't say, oh, can I have some help? Like, have you seen it? What do I do? Is there anyone I can go to help? These women do not see me as a human. They didn't look at me once. I just stood there looking at them like, hee hee. Took all my strength not to be like, karma, bitch! Fuck you! That's for last time! Anyway, the person nowhere to be found. She's panicking and she's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go find it. I can't pay for it. I went, no problem. I put these to the side. Peasant, just like me. Minimum wage girlies, gotta do this together. She starts putting her stuff away and leaves the bloody tissues. Yeah. I said, excuse me, do you mind just taking the tissues? She went, can you just put them in the bin? And I honestly nearly shouted in her face. I don't think I've spoken this strict to someone before, but I went, no, excuse me, you need to take the tissues because there's blood on them and that's a health hazard. 2319! We got a 20! I think that's the one and only time I've seen her look embarrassed because she had to retreat back over to the till and pick up her tissues and put them back into her handbag. Did she find the purse? We'll never know because it didn't come back. Let's hope it stays like that. Fuck off.
Why do customers in your hospitality job just have to be so rude sometimes? I just came back from work. I was working at the door today, so I was like sitting customers down, and 2 groups of people come in. 1 group of 3, 1 group of 2. Group of 3 says, can we have a table for 5, please? So I assume they're all together because all together it's 5 people. And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, let me just like prepare your table. And then the group of 3 leaves to, I don't know, but they leave. So I asked the group of 2, I was like, do you need any high chairs? Because I thought they were all together. And sometimes they'll say group of like whatever, and then they'll still want an extra high chair. So I just said, do you need any high chairs? They were like, yeah, 2. I'm like, okay, let me go get the high chairs for you. I'm walking all the way to the back. I come back with the 2 high chairs, and the 2 people were like sitting at a taken table, but the customers from that taken table were at the till. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, that table's taken, I was just getting your table ready over there. They were like, where do you expect us to sit? I was like, at an empty table, the one I was just trying to prepare. They were like, no, we want to sit at this table. I was like, well, I'm sorry, this table's taken.
And they were like, what, you walked off? And I was like, yeah, I was just getting the high chairs. I asked if you need any high chairs. You said 2. They were like, no, why would we need 2 high chairs? It's just us. And I was like, I confirmed that I'm gonna go get the high chairs, and you said okay. They were like, oh, we didn't hear you say that. You didn't say that. I was like, okay, well, it's just a bit of miscommunication. Can I sit you down at an empty table? They were like, no, we want your manager. We hate your attitude. I was like, okay, I wrote down my manager. We explain what happens. My manager still says, can we sit you down at an empty table? They're like, no, we're going home. You won't be getting service from us today. I was like, you leaving doesn't make me get paid less. You're just gonna go home hungry. That's what's gonna happen.
I'm not returning my shopping cart. And you can judge me all you want. I'm not getting my groceries into my car, getting my children into the car, and then leaving them in the car to go return the cart.
Hey. This lady got absolutely rinsed in her comment section over this video. When you've got 80,000 comments, you know you're fucked up. I actually wanted to show you the follow-up video that she made to this before I say anything.
6 million people have freaked out over me not returning my shopping cart because my kids are in the car. So I want to give you some statistics. Last year, 265 children were abducted in parking lots in America. Half of those were sexually assaulted. As a single mom returning your shopping cart, you are prime for a predator to watch and grab you. The same 10% of crimes occur in parking lots. If you get to a parking lot, you should look at the lighting. You should look at security guards. You should look at how the parking lot is laid out. If it feels safe, go return your cart.
So where's this energy for getting the cart then? That's where I'm confused. Do they have a fetish for people returning the carts and they leave you alone when you want to get them because they feel sorry for you? Oh, go get your shopping first and then I'll grab you. When you were grabbing the cart before you went in, was that not also unsafe? It's the literal exact same environment as when you're putting it back. Do you know how many parents were in the comment section as well that were like, oh, I'll just bring my kids with me? I understand how it'll be frustrating having to ferry the kids around, messing on, putting the carts back, but it can be really dangerous just leaving them in the middle of the car park. I see a lot of people centering themselves in these situations and forgetting that it's real people that have to tidy up their mess, or real people are going out to sort these carts out and make sure they're not in dangerous places. And any concerns you have about yourself can literally be mirrored to the people doing this. What if it's a young girl having to put these carts away at night time in this dangerous parking lot? Is the concern only valid if it's you? There's people in this world that put their trolleys back, that put their self-scan baskets back in the pile, that take their sheets off of beds when they're done with them in the hotel rooms, that stack up their plates in the restaurants so the servers can take them away easier. And then there's people who say, that's not my job. Be the first person, for the love of God.
I just had such a rude interaction with a client and I'm fuming. First thing, she walks up to my door and she was like, I said, hi. She said, are you... And I said, yeah, I'm the cosmetic tattooist. She said, so you're going to be doing my eyebrows? I said, yeah. And she went, oh. I said, did you not see my name in the emails and my photo on the website when you booked? And she said, no. I said, oh, anyway, come in. And then I was in there and I was drawing on her eyebrows, and every time she didn't like something, she would wipe it off. And I hate that, because if you don't want something, I'll adjust it. And when you're smudging, it makes it a lot harder to do that. So I said, oh, hold on, I'll do that for you. And she was like, oh. So is that the shape that you would do? And I said, well, that's actually on your bone structure and it goes along with your hair growth. So that's probably what I would recommend, but what would you like? And then she grabbed the pencil and she started making it a bit thicker, which is fine, but she brought her tail all the way out to here. And I said, look, I wouldn't recommend doing that because it's out of your bone structure and it's going to pull your eye down. And she said, well, that's what they do when they tint it. And I said, okay, but with cosmetic tattooing, you don't want to bring it down there because it's permanently there. And then she was like, oh. I said, look, you seem really unsure and I don't want to pressure you into anything. So it's completely up to you. By the way, we ended up getting her eyebrows looking amazing when, with the drawing. And then she said, so what's the process then? And then I explained everything like I do. And then she said, so they're going to be flaky. And I said, well, yeah, it's still a tattoo. It's with microneedles, but it's still a tattoo, so it's going to flake a little bit. And she said, and when's that going to happen? I said, well, you don't get it wet for a week. Then it's going to be a bit flaky around days 8 to 12. And she said, oh, well, I'll just put makeup on it. And I said, you can't actually do that for 2 weeks. Because if you put makeup on something that's still an open wound, you're going to cause infection. And she was like, oh, well, I didn't know any of this. I didn't know it. Now, asking me questions is totally fine. Being unsure is fine. But there's no need to be a cow. And speaking to me like I don't know what I'm doing because I'm a male and being unsure because I'm a male is not good. And I said to her, did you see like my Instagram and my website, things like that when you were booking? Like, have you seen my work? She said, no. Why would you book in with somebody for cosmetic tattooing if you have not checked out their work? Because I know that if she had looked at my work, she wouldn't have been as unsure. And she definitely wouldn't be judging me because I'm a male.
I've worked in retail for 15 years and I've dealt with some crazy shit. And I just stand there and cop it. The customer's always right. You stand there and cop it. I have defended my staff before. That's totally fine. But if it's directed at me, I will just sit there and go, yep. Thank you. There's the door. However, today I cracked. I cracked for the first time in 15 years in my job. And I think it was very, very valid. So this lady was very disgruntled with me because I wouldn't honour the 20% promotion that we had running until I think end of last Monday or Tuesday. I honestly can't remember. I just explained it's not fair enough to you because everyone's been asking me for it and it has finished. I go to Witchery and I go to Zimmerman, and when their sale ends, they don't honour it for me. That's just life. I'm sorry. If you don't want the item, you don't have to buy it. I'm not holding a gun to your head. It's totally fine. She wanted to buy it still. And she was like to me, it's for my friend with cancer. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. I said, well, look, I do have a 10% off day. I'm more than happy to honour the 10%, but I just can't do the 20% promotion because it doesn't exist anymore. And she was like, but what's it to you? It's not coming out of your pocket. I said, I'm just doing my job and I can't honour it. She's like, well, then I'll speak to the manager. And I said, yes, speaking to her. Not honouring it. Like, it's just not happening. Anyway, so she goes, will you at least gift wrap it? I said, yeah, of course, I'll gift wrap it. Like, that's not an issue. So I gift wrap the item, and as I'm doing it, I said, I'm just, I don't like awkwardness. So I said, I'm really sorry again for the inconvenience. And she goes, no, you're not. And I said, okay, well, I am, so I'm just apologising. And she had this look of pure evil on her face. It was quite wild. And she goes to me, she goes, I hope your hair never falls out. I said, what? I said, sorry, what did you say? And she goes, I hope your hair never falls out. Like as if she was saying, I hope you never get cancer.
The best way to get revenge on someone who's giving you attitude or being rude for no reason, like you come into a situation, whether it's at the gym or a group of friends or people you just meet, I don't know, any situation, guy or girl, whoever you are, if you walk into a situation and you are friendly, okay, this depends if you're friendly, like me, so any situation I walk into, I walk in very friendly. Now, if a girl turns around, or even a guy, and gives me attitude or talks down to me or makes sly digs, which I have gotten my whole life. I was in gym classes last year with girls making sly comments, and they don't realize that I'm actually not that nice. I have a very dark side to me. So I'm nice when you're nice. But if you're not nice, I'm not. Now, the best way to get these people to suck up your ass and to be very sorry that they did that is you have to change your complete aura, your complete vibe. So when someone does that, when I walk in a situation, like I said, in the gym last year, I had girls giving me rude comments, this, that, even at another gym. And what I do, as soon as I'm nice and I realize, okay, that's what they're going to give me, sweet. It's because, one, they're jealous and intimidated. So people will be really nasty and rude when they can't handle their insecurities about you. So what you do is you have to change that aura and you have to be cold as fuck. Keep your head up. Do not look down ever. Keep your head up. Keep that confidence. Talk to everyone else like normal, but don't even look them in the eyes. Do not speak to them. Pretend they do not exist, like they are an ant on this earth that you could step on. If you radiate that energy, okay, and every single time this has happened, yeah, they will come back to you and somehow find a way to ask you a question, somehow be nice to you, try and chat to you because they want your approval, because you intimidated them. So then their way to cover that up is to be rude. But then when they see you're not affected and they're the ant and their insecurities are coming out, then they want your approval. It's like a full psychology thing. It's worked my whole life, but you've really got to radiate. You do not give a fuck, especially when you're nice to begin with, which you have to be nice. If you're just a nasty girl to begin with, no wonder people aren't nice to you. But if you're nice and you do that switch, they cannot handle it because they're like, wait, I wanted her approval. Trust.
So apparently I'm getting reported to head office because I refused service to someone. Lol. The till was open, by the way. If you wanted to get served by a person, you could have just gone to that one. But no, this lady goes to the self-scan and calls me over for help, right? So I walk over and I say, hello. No response, of course. And she's got a basket full of stuff just on the self-scan and she's looking through her bag with her head down. So I said again, I was like, are you okay? She goes, yeah. Stares at me, so I stare back. And she just gestures her hand at her stuff. And I was like, yeah, sorry, did you need help with something? She goes, can you scan my stuff, please? Like, I swear to God, do you want me to punch you in the gob? Why are you speaking to us like that? This is a self-scan. Are you stupid? There is a person on the till for this exact job. But there are other people waiting behind you that would happily use this till. Why are you there? Why are you there? Obviously, I'm a bit put off because it's like, why have you just spoken to us like that? I was like, right, okay, I mean, this is a self-scan. Did you want to go to the till instead? She goes, a till is a till. Does it really matter? Can you just scan it? And like, I should have refused right then and there, but sometimes maybe I'm just a bit too much of a fanny and I can't be arsed with the confrontation. So I was just like, yeah, okay, just next time you can just go to that till if you'd rather. She obviously doesn't want me to have the last word because she starts arguing back, being like, well, no, I'll go to whichever till I want to go to. If you can just scan my stuff, what's the difference? La la la. So we're just having stupid back and forth, and then the final trigger comment, she goes, it's really not that difficult if you could just stop arguing and scan my items. I went, do you know what it is? I'm not going to serve you with that kind of attitude, thank you. And I just walked away. Ends up going to the normal till to be served instead. And then later on, like, I was obviously in the aisle by this point. She comes up to me and she was like, just so you know, I will be letting head office know about this. And you want to know what I said? Like I say every time they say they're going to report is, I go, oh, no worries. Do you want us to write my name down so you don't spell it wrong? Burn. Because you're not going to take the piss out of me. Eeh. She said no and stormed off. I thought, honestly, just put that sexy girl working in that shop. They'll know exactly who you mean. Ugh, that's me. Isn't it just so bizarre? What was the need for that? Why didn't you just say, hello, could you scan my stuff? And you would have been. Why didn't you go to the fucking till in the first place? Actually, that's what I want to know. Why are you in a self-scan? They're so stupid. They're actually stupid.
Okay, y'all, so why did I just catch my client watching while doing her hair? Like, let's get right into it, because what? So my client comes in and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And she just kind of had a little attitude. As soon as I said, hey, how are you doing? She looked at me like up and down and she just was like, hey. So when she did that, I was like, okay, maybe today's not her day. Whatever, come on, it's cool. Like, I'm finna just do your hair and get you on up out of here, right? Literally, as soon as she sat in my chair, she did this. She put her head down and she's in her phone like this. So as she does that, I'm like, hey, could you pick your head up? Because if you put your head down, your parts aren't going to be straight, right? So as I told her to do that, pick her head up, she like, so I'm just looking at behind her head. I'm just like, what's with the attitude? Like, what's going on? So as I'm looking behind her head, she just was like, can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, you can use the guest bathroom. You're not going to use my bathroom. You can use the guest bathroom. So it's right next to the hair room. So literally she went to the bathroom and she was in there for like a little minute. I was like, what's taking her so long? As she's in there, I hear like a big, So I'm like, I ain't think none of it. But in the back of my head, I'm like, let me get up out this room because nah. She's finally out the bathroom or whatever. Like, she sat down and literally I had to tell her, could you put your head up, please? She put her head up. Literally, she scratched her head. I kid you not. When she scratched her head, it was like a whiff of fucking coochie hit my face. So when it hit my face, I just was like I had to, because I'm like, she's steady putting her head down. I'm politely putting her head up. So this is where I seen what was going on. So this girl, you know how your phone automatically, the brightness just automatically goes up? Literally her phone, her brightness went up. And some told me, look at that phone, girl. Look at her phone. Why did I look down? And this girl, all I seen was private parts and booty. And I'm just like, literally as soon as I made a facial expression, she must have looked up at me. We looking at each other. So I'm just like, you good? You cool? I'm just like, hey, you good? You cool? I kid y'all not. This girl went off. She just was like, why were you looking all in?
I was this close to losing my shit at work today. First of all, it was such a busy shift. Probably the busiest shift I've ever worked, except for Christmas Eve last year. Such a busy shift. Like, I don't know why everyone was like, this Sunday I'm going to go into Coles and buy everything under the sun. I had, like, person after person after person after person. And look, I try my best to be kind, but at one point it's like, come on, stop coming to my register. Anyways, it has nothing to do with that. Okay, so this girl comes through. She's probably like mid-20s. And every single time she comes through my register, I just get like fake vibes from her. Like she's never done anything to me, but I just get vibes that she's like a bitch. So she comes through my register and I'm like, hey, how are you? She's like, I need bags. And I was like, perfect. So I'm packing her bags, whatever. Her friend comes up and lines up behind her and they're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. And they're like talking, whatever. And I just keep scanning, blah, blah, blah. It gets to the end of the transaction, they're still chatting away. And I'm like, hey, so your total's $207.83. Is that cash or card? She turns to her friend, she's just like, card. Sorry? I'm literally standing there and I'm just like, so close to losing my absolute mind. I want to jump over the fucking register. I was like, she pays, and then I'm like, have a good day. And she's like, oh, bye, Jessica, or whatever her friend's name is, and walks off. What did I do to you? What have I done? Last time I thought about it, you came to my store and then buying shit from me through my register. Like, as if you have the damn audacity to be like, when I'm just trying to give you the total of your groceries. I'm trying to help, love, okay? I'm not the villain here. Sorry. Like, sorry for interrupting you and your friend's conversation, but you need to pay, love, okay? Oh, anyways, if I see her again, it's not gonna be good. But please be nice to me if you ever see me at work.
All set? Are you ready to go? You comfortable?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take this pillow and place it underneath your ankle. Your ankles, excuse me.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and lift up your ankle.
Okay.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. It's fine.
Thank you so much. I don't know exactly what to say.
It's fine. You can say lift up my legs, whatever.
Okay, also, you seem really chill. Do you mind if I ask what happened? I've never worked on anybody with a prosthetic leg before.
Yeah, totally. So back in 2001, I was working for this company while I was finishing up medical school. And it was actually my last week at the company. But while I was there, my computer broke. So I had to have it fixed. And the guy who used to work on our computers, he was a really cool guy. Like, everybody loved him. He used to actually bring us like wheatgrass shots and stuff, you know? He was kind of a hippie. So anyway, I told my boss that my computer had broken. And he told me, well, see if you can get a hold of the computer guy, because maybe he could fix it for you, even though he's not working today.
Okay.
And he was super chill. So even though he wasn't working that day, he was like, oh yeah, you can totally come by and drop off the computer and, you know, I'll fix it for you. Cause I only had 1 week left at that company. So I really wasn't too concerned. So I just went over and I dropped it off.
Right.
So, I went and I dropped it off and he told me, he was like, yeah, you can go and put it over here on that table. Cause I went inside, and then before I knew it, I was chained up in a soundproof room in his basement.
What?
Yeah, I don't really know how it happened, but I do remember waking up and not being able to see anything because it was so dark. And it was weird because I kept thinking, is anyone gonna look for me?
Yeah. Did anybody look for you? What happened? Were you not in a relationship or something?
Well, I come from a broken home, so I don't have a relationship with my family. And my boyfriend at the time, he always thought that I was cheating on him, so he threw out all my stuff, like, on the curb. So I was just kind of hoping that the guy would release me. But while I was there, he starved me and beat me up and also ripped my teeth out.
What?
Storytime on how my dad tried to sell me. Yeah. So I was 17 years old when my dad started all the marriage talk. Bear in mind, I was still in school, so I was not really ready. He would talk to me about it over dinner, and he would tell me that he wanted me to marry someone in Bangladesh so that he could come here and get his British passport. In return, my dad would get like 30k in cash, you know, in return for me bringing this guy to the UK. Well, first of all, he was not willing to split any of this money with me, even though I would be the one that would be going through with this. Secondly, he told me that it would be fine because I could just divorce him afterwards. But I did not want to be 20 years old and divorced. Let's be realistic here. If I had married that guy, whoever he was, he probably would have raped me, got me pregnant, and kept me as his little British wife to serve him once he had arrived in the UK. Now, I don't know if my dad was really that naive or he honestly just did not care about me, but I did not see this ending well for me. So naturally, I tried to talk to my mum. She turned me away, told me that this was between me and my dad and that I had to talk to him about it. I tried and I wasn't getting through. Like, he was adamant on doing this to me. So I ended up telling a friend about it, and they ended up telling a teacher, and eventually the police found out. And one day, out of nowhere, they came bursting in and took me with them, and I went into foster care for 4 months. Now, sometimes I still can't believe that this shit happened to me. That summer changed my life for the better, actually. Now, it was obviously very traumatizing to experience all that at such a young age, but I am a big believer of everything happens for a reason, and I believe I was meant to meet my foster parents because they showed me exactly what healthy relationships with your parents should look like. After I went into foster care, I was able to get a forced marriage protection order. Basically means that my parents cannot take me abroad and force me to marry. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm guessing they would probably flag my passport at an airport. I have been abroad since, but I've really had no issues. The only issue I've had since getting that order is when I had to renew my passport like 2 years later. It took them 3 months because they had to find a way to reach out to me to make sure that I was the one trying to renew my passport and not my parents. That summer, I also got myself a full-time job, which enabled me to move out and cut off my toxic parents forever. I was 17 when I got my job, and if you want to know more about that, I can definitely do a video. I was very, very blessed to have been able to get that first job because it gave me the sort of freedom that I never thought I could have. I've actually received a few DMs asking how I was able to move out, so I think I might make a video about how I got my job, how I got my own place. And no, I don't talk to my parents anymore. I've completely cut them off because I don't need that kind of negative energy in my life.
My stalker came back into work. So if you didn't see my other story time, I had a stalker and he came in literally for weeks on end to every single shift I worked. And he asked my number multiple times. Then once I told him I was 17, he backed off a little bit. And then I hadn't really seen him since. Like, every time he comes into calls, like, he didn't come through my register. So I was like, perfect, he got it. That, like, I was 17 and just unavailable to him. Unavailable to anyone. But anyways, so he comes in. This was the other day, and I completely just haven't. What is on my? I haven't had time to do a story time, so I'll do it now. So he comes in again, and he comes to my register. So this is literally just after I posted the stalker story time as well. So I was like, no fucking way, he's coming through my register again now. Like, just after I posted this. So I'm doing this lady's like really big, like, groceries, like she's got a huge shop, so I'm doing hers, and then I see someone like come up to the end of the register to do another, like to be the next customer. So I look up and it's him. I make eye contact with him. He's standing there like this, and I was like, sick. And I just keep doing this lady's thing, and I was like, oh my god, what the hell? And I'm like scanning all of her stuff. I finished with that, and he's like, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm good, how are you? Like, haven't seen you in a while. And he was like, yeah, it has been a while, like, And I was trying to get this done snappy and quick. He had literally 5 items, no reason to wait behind that girl with all of the groceries, okay? Not a single reason for him to wait that long. Like, could have gone through self-serve, right? Anyways, I finish it up, blah, blah, blah. He's telling me about his dog again. And I'm like, whatever, he could just want to have a chat. And then he stays there and keeps talking after I finish, after he's paid, after he's gotten his receipt. He stays there, and I was like, what is this? Like, this is really odd. My cat's just come in. And then someone else comes behind him, so he has to leave, obviously, because I've got another customer. So as this next lady comes through, He grabs his bag, he grabs his receipt, and he's like, oh, well, goodbye, TikTok Ella, and walks off. Oh, so you've just seen the TikTok that I've made about you being an absolute creep. You're probably watching this right now because I don't remember your name. What do you mean, TikTok Ella? Like, I'm actually scared. I'm not scared. Like, he's not gonna do anything. He doesn't know where I live or anything, but like, he's seen the TikTok I made about him. Like, that's so embarrassing. But also, like, should have been a little bit of a creep in the first place. And why did you come through again after I've made that story saying you were a creep? And why are you bringing attention to the fact that you follow my TikTok? Like, imagine I did remember his name. I would block him right now, but I don't remember his name.
I'm running hot today. Blood boiling. Let me tell you what happened. I achieved a dream. I bought a Dyson Airwrap recently. Was it new? No. Refurbished. Discounted. Walmart.com. Stopped working within a week. Good. Hair flat. Spirit crushed. I said, that's okay. I'll take it back. I'll get my $378.86 back. Maybe order Postmates 4 times. Who knows? Don't get crazy. I take it in. Walmart. Give it to her. She keeps it. Gives me a little ticket. FedEx tracking link. I said, okay, great. I go home 5 days later. I check the tracking link. I say, maybe my Airwrap's over Minnesota. Turns out it was nowhere to be found. Package not found. I said, okay. I get on Walmart.com, start chatting with Joe, customer service. He says, yeah, there's no record of that return. You're going to need to go back to the store. I said, really? Good, good, good. So I wake up this morning. I say, Teresa, today's the day. I've been dreading this, but I got to do it. I go into Walmart. I walk up to the customer service desk. There's a beautiful woman there, neon green wig, bedazzled teeth, Charlotte. I say, hello, Charlotte. Here's what happened. She goes, I heard about that package. I said, there's lore? She goes, yeah, it's in the back. I said, really? A week later? She goes, I'll go find it for you. The customer service rep from before was never supposed to take it from you at all. She was just supposed to print the FedEx label, slap it on, and give it back to you for you to send. I said, why did she do what she did? She goes, I said, what do I do? She goes, I said, okay, good. We're off to a good start here, aren't we? She goes, yeah, I have to find someone to take my spot at the customer service desk for a minute. We look at a manager, we make eye contact. The manager turns, walks away. We say, good, good, good. So I stand there for about 15 minutes, making eye contact with Charlotte like this. Hey, finally, hey, there's a cat. Finally, she finds someone to come take her spot. She goes to the back, meanders, comes back carrying my box all wrapped up like a mummy. I say, my Airwrap. She goes, here you go. Pull up the email that the girl sent you from before whenever she did your return. I said, I never got an email. She goes, good. Okay. She goes, I'm going to have to go talk to a team lead. I said, okay. She leaves. She goes, I'll be right back. 25 minutes go by. Where's Charlotte? Where's Charlotte? Another lady walks by. I say, hi, Charlotte was supposed to come back. She goes, oh, she's in hardware. I said, where's that? She goes, I'll take you. So I'm carrying my box like a newborn babe over to hardware. There's Charlotte just chatting with a woman named Mandy. I say, hey, Charlotte, you left me high and dry. She goes, oh, I was over here. Were you? Okay. So then we're talking to Mandy. Mandy goes, well, you bought this from Dyson through Walmart and the return window ended yesterday. I said, yeah, but it wouldn't have ended if your customer service rep didn't botch the return in the first place. And I'm being so sweet. I'm being so patient. I'm not trying to end up on TikTok for all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? My name doesn't start with a K or end with an Aaron. It's Teresa. So she goes, okay, I'm going to help you out. It's a lot of money. I said, yeah, it's a lot of money. At this point, I've been there for 45 minutes. She's calling people. She's calling. 10 people. I'm sitting there next to the trash cans like the little piece of shit that I am. Finally, she gets on hold with the big boss, the Wario of Walmart. I hear him say on the other line, just make the customer happy. I said, well, you got to write me a prescription for that, buddy, but we can start with the money. She goes, okay, we're giving you cash. I said, hell yeah, Mandy. Me, Mandy, Charlotte. Start walking back to the customer service desk like Charlie's Angels. I'm pointing my Airwrap at anybody that'll look me in the eyes. We get to the front. Then they go, well, we can't give you cash because we don't have that authority. We're going to have to find another manager. I said, okay.
I'm actually like annoyed. I know sales is like, I know how it is working in retail and I know the KPIs and the pressure that you get from like your management team and stuff to like reach targets. But seriously, like these sales assistants are doing the most and it's just, oh. First stop that I made was in Dusk. I just went into Dusk. I went in with the intention to buy one candle. I got informed of the 50% off half price second item purchase. I said, no, I'm all right, thank you. I just want the one candle. Oh, but if you get the mini candle, it comes down to $10. Like, it's just such a bargain, you know? Like, it's such a steal. All right, whatever, I'll get a mini candle. Smelling through the mini candles, every single scent that I want in the mini candle, they don't have. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going to get the mini candle. I'm not going to buy a candle that doesn't smell nice just because it's $10. It's $10 that I don't need to spend. Oh, that's fine. We don't have this one in a mini, but you can just get the medium size one and it comes down to like $18. Well, no, I don't know, bitch. Like, actually, no. You're lucky I'm even spending the 10 for the second candle. Don't shove a medium-sized candle down my throat now because you don't have the scent that I want in a mini. Anyways, I ended up settling for the vanilla caramel mini because I'm a people pleaser and I felt bad. So I got the mini one, not the scent that I wanted, but it's fine. In all of this, I get offered if I want gift wrapping. You know, oh, we'll put it in a bag, make it look nice for Mother's Day, rah, rah, rah. I'm like, okay, cute, that's cool. Like, I'll grab that. Thank you. Come down to pay. Oh, it's like $67. And I'm like, in my head, the math is not mathing. Like, I'm just not sure. I said, how much did the candles come down to? Oh, the candles came down to this. The other one came down to this. Cool. So where's the like extra $9 from? Oh, that's for the gift wrapping. Right. So you've offered to gift wrap my candles for Mother's Day, but you haven't informed me of the additional $10 cost. Like, bro, are you right? Like, that just put a sour taste in my mouth. So I walked out of dusk and I'm like, well, I won't be coming back to this store again. Like, then I go into Edge. I haven't even like properly stepped foot in the building before I get, oh, are you looking for anything in particular? Is there anything I can give you a hand with? Dude, I haven't even had a chance to look around and see if there's anything that I like. Firstly, just like let me breathe a little bit. Oh, that's fine. I just thought I'd let you know, though, that these items and these items are half price and blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. Like, thanks for letting me know. Oh, like, this top would look so slay on you. Like, it just looks so good on you. Right. Okay. Please, stop blowing smoke up my ass. Let me just do my shopping, please. I'm pissed off from dusk. Now I feel like I'm being fucking suffocated in Edge as well. I pick up my items. There was a second sale assistant there that was really, like, nice. And I could tell that she could tell that I felt suffocated and she just, like, let me do my thing. Anyways, I go into the change room. I try on my 3 items. I end up only liking one of the items. I take it to the register to purchase. And the other sales assistant goes to me, do you have, like, some pants to wear with these? Nah, I don't have pants. I don't have pants to wear with my top. Like, bro, I know you're trying to make another sale out of me by asking if I've got pants, and I know it's your job, but back off. So I said, yep, I've got pants with the outfit, thanks. Oh, what about socks? Our socks come down to $10. I'm like, my eye starts twitching. I'm just like, why? Why is this happening to me? In 2 stores, back to row. Like, I don't have the patience for this. I'm getting frustrated. And I'm like, no, thank you. I would not like socks. And then I think she could tell that I was, like, a little bit pissed off. And overall, it just fucking annoyed me. Like, oh, stop trying to scam me. Stop trying to make KPIs off me. I worked in retail. I know how it is. You're really annoying me. I'm actually not going to buy the more that you suffocate me. Let me just have a look around. If I need help, I'm going to come to you. Don't try and... Oh, do you need socks? Do you have some pants to wear with these? Oh, fuck, it makes me so angry. I worked at Cotton On for 2 days and I literally quit working Cotton On because I couldn't handle the amount of questions we had to ask on checkout. Like, it was annoying. I was a pest. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this. So I quit.
I worked at Coles for almost 7 years in the deli, but I used to work at a different store. And when I was at a different store, I was about 16 or so, I had this regular who would come in every weekend and get 2 pieces of basa. She was a middle to older aged lady. Like, she definitely wasn't old, maybe about 60 or so. And I don't think I ever got her name, but she was so kind, and she complimented my smile, and we just ended up, she became one of my regulars, and we just ended up having small talk. If you work in the deli, you know. There are some customers that you just love because they're just so kind. But she evidently had some sort of early onset Alzheimer's, and I noticed as weeks went by that she kind of became a bit more spacey, and then she started coming in with a carer. She also became more frail, but she still continued to get her 2 pieces of basa, and of course I remembered, and she didn't even have to ask when she came to the deli. I'll just get it for her. And she was my first regular, I think, or definitely one of them. And it was difficult to see her deteriorate as time went on because I only got to see a couple minutes of her life every single week, but I could see how quickly she was declining and that she was becoming more frail and confused. And I remember thinking about her during the times that I wouldn't see her and missing her and worrying about her and caring for her. And then I remember one day that she came in and she was with a carer that I had not seen before. And she came up to me. I was standing behind the seafood section, naturally. And she came up and she started crying, like tears were forming in her eyes, and she reached across the deli counter and I reached my hands out and we held onto each other's arms. And I was telling her that I care about her, and she was saying that I'm such a lovely girl and stuff, and then I asked her what she wanted, but she didn't even understand the question, so I got it for her. And I never saw her again after that. And I have thought of her ever since, regularly, and it's been 6 years, and I still care for her and wonder about her, you know, and about her story and everything. And I think I just wanted to tell this story to let you know that, like, for me, regulars are really important, and the people that come into the deli who I see and have conversations with, they're really important to me, and it's such a beautiful glimpse into someone's life to be able to interact with them on a regular basis. And I think it is also maybe a message that you don't realize who is out there thinking about you. Like, definitely none of her family members would know that I still think of her like every month or so and send her my love. I didn't even know her name. But she had a huge impact on me, and I think that's maybe why I feel so emotionally invested in my customer relationships. And it is something that I've been reflecting on as I prepare to leave Coles. It's something that I'm gonna miss so much, and I miss my regulars from my old store so fucking much. But yeah. That's one reason why I love working at Coles, and I just wanted to share the story. I hope it's not boring or anything. I worked at Coles for almost 7 years in the deli, but I used to work at a different store. And when I was at a different store, I was about 16 or so, I had this regular who would come in every weekend and get 2 pieces of basa. She was a middle to older aged lady, like she definitely wasn't old, maybe about 60 or so. And I don't think I ever got her name, but she was so kind, and she complimented my smile, and we just ended up, she became one of my regulars, and we just ended up having small talk. If you work in the deli, you know, there are some customers that you just love because they're just so kind. But she evidently had some sort of early onset Alzheimer's, and I noticed as weeks went by that she kind of became a bit more spacey, and then she started coming in with a carer. She also became more frail, but she still continued to get her 2 pieces of basa, and of course I remembered, and she didn't even have to ask when she came to the deli. I'll just get it for her. And she was my first regular, I think, or definitely one of them. And it was difficult to see her deteriorate as time went on because I only got to see a couple minutes of her life every single week, but I could see how quickly she was declining and that she was becoming more frail and confused. And I remember thinking about her during the times that I wouldn't see her and missing her and worrying about her and caring for her. And then I remember one day that she came in and she was with a carer that I had not seen before. And she came up to me. I was standing behind the seafood section, naturally. And she came up and she started crying, like tears were forming in her eyes. And she reached across the deli counter and I reached my hands out and we held onto each other's arms. And I was telling her that I care about her, and she was saying that I'm such a lovely girl and stuff. And then I asked her what she wanted, but she didn't even understand the question. So I got it for her. And I never saw her again after that. And I have thought of her ever since, regularly, and it's been 6 years. And I still care for her and wonder about her, you know, and about her story and everything. And I think I just wanted to tell this story to let you know that, like, for me, regulars are really important, and the people that come into the deli who I see and have conversations with, they're really important to me, and it's such a beautiful glimpse into someone's life to be able to interact with them on a regular basis. And I think it is also maybe a message that you don't realize who is out there thinking about you. Like, definitely none of her family members would know that I still think of her like every month or so and send her my love. I didn't even know her name. But she had a huge impact on me, and I think that's maybe why I feel so emotionally invested in my customer relationships. And it is something that I've been reflecting on as I prepare to leave Coles. It's something that I'm going to miss so much, and I miss my regulars from my old store so fucking much. But yeah. That's one reason why I love working at Coles, and I just wanted to share the story. I hope it's not boring or anything.
Guys, it finally happened. I had a customer make me cry today. And I wasn't even crying because I was like offended or like sad. I was just so fucking mad. And he was so rude. But I'm gonna tell the story. Hi, how are you?
Small cappuccino.
Okay, anything else?
Why don't you just let me finish ordering?
Okay. Was there something else?
Single shot in a large cup.
Okay, and did you just want it in a large cup just for space on the top?
No, what do you mean space on the top? No.
Okay, so then I'm just wondering why it's in a large cup.
Because I want it extra. Bleh.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Bleh.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not too sure what you're saying. Can you repeat that for me?
Dry. I want it extra dry.
Yeah, I can totally do the cappuccino extra dry for you. I'm just verifying it's a small in a large cup.
It doesn't matter why it's in a large cup, okay? She knows how to make it, and she's gonna make it for me, so you don't need to be asking me all these questions.
At this point, I start putting together that he wants it in a large cup because he wants the barista on bar to fill the drink all the way up to the top, which would make it a large dry cappuccino, not a small dry cappuccino. Okay. Yeah, I'll have that right out for you.
And I don't know what you mean by this on top. On top. What are you talking about?
I just said, did you want it in a large cup for space on top? Just because the small, is going to fill it up about halfway.
She's going to make it, so you don't need to worry about it, okay?
So I go over to the bar, okay? Hey, so for this customer that just put that order in for that small cappuccino in a large cup, I just want to make sure that you are going to make a small cappuccino amount and leave space in there.
So he's like really particular and he wants foam all the way to the top. So we just normally do it for him.
And doing that is how we raise entitled customers. So he ordered a small cappuccino, extra dry, in a large cup. So make the cappuccino extra dry. but there's gonna be space. Only put a small amount in there.
You don't need to be talking to her. It's fine. She can do it.
You know what? On second thought, I'm just gonna make his drink, okay?
Okay.
She gets it. She makes it all the time, okay? You don't need to come over here and walk her through it.
Thank you, sir. I heard you. Okay, I make the drink. I'm steaming this shit extra fucking dry. I literally have to use 2 different pitchers because I'm making this bitch fucking extra dry because you're not sending it back.
Hey, before you ham it out, just make sure to put cinnamon on it because he's like really weird about cinnamon being on it, even though he never orders it. So just put it on top.
Okay. I put the cinnamon on it, okay? Here you go. Pretend this is a large cup.
Why would I want this? And put some cinnamon on it.
I did put cinnamon on your drink for you, sir.
And this is wrong. You didn't even fill it all the way up. This is why I didn't want you making my drink.
Yeah, so you ordered a small cappuccino in a large cup, so that is a small cappuccino in a large cup?
No, a small cappuccino in a large cup would come with foam filled all the way to the top. This is why I didn't want you making it. You don't even know what you're talking about.
I am more than aware on how to make a small cappuccino. That is exactly what I gave you, and it's extra dry. He's not done. Pretend there's a sleeve on this, takes the sleeve, fucking throws it on the fucking counter.
I don't know why you're giving me all this.
Okay, sir, you do not need to be rude to me. I gave you exactly what you asked for.
No, you didn't, because it's not filled all the way up. You don't even know how to do your job correctly.
Yeah, if it was to come filled all the way up, I would need to ring you up for a large. If you would like to go up and pay for the size difference, I would be more than happy to fill that up for you. At this point, also, I'm like, my hands are starting to shake because I'm so fucking mad. Also, we're fucking slammed. There's so many people standing around and they're all just like watching, like, eh.
Next time I'm coming in, you will not be making my drink.
And then he walked off. And then he sat in the lobby, and then I was like shaking so bad, and my eyes started watering because I'm like, this dumbass motherfucker is trying to scam us. Like, you're trying to get a large. So yeah, it caught me out of my element. Normally I love the back and forth with like Karens or like male Karens. But then I was like calling out a drink, my voice is like cracking, and I was like, I think I need to go to the back real quick. But yeah, this dude, he fucking pissed me off. And if he comes back and tries this shit, 1, I'm making his drink again, because sir, you're not getting a large for free. And 2, his ass is gonna get banned.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys about one of the worst clients I had as an esthetician. So I never used to like to talk about like, you know, any of my experiences that I had just because I was still working there. But now that I'm not working there, I feel like it's appropriate. And obviously I'm not gonna like say the name of the person or whatever. But, okay, so I had this one client and I was seeing her like for years. Would do lasers on her all the time. I would mostly do IPL lasers on her and then even some microneedling. Then I had gotten pregnant with Hendrix. And then I was on maternity leave like for about 3 months, I think. And during that time that I was on maternity leave, she saw the other esthetician. I was, replacing me. So a year went by, like, that I was back at work, and so Hendrix was 1. And so I finally saw her again, and I was like so excited to see her because I was pretty close to her because I was seeing her every single month for a couple of years before I had Drix. So at this appointment, I was like, oh my God, like, you know, I haven't seen you in forever. And she was like giving me the same energy. I was even showing her like pictures of Drix because I was telling her about like how crazy his hair was at the time. This is before we cut it. She was telling me about her husband problems. I don't know, just a bunch of personal things that you tell somebody who like you're vibing with or like you have like some type of relationship right? Like, I wouldn't just tell somebody that, like, who I just met. Like, you have to have some kind of level of comfort to tell people, like, personal information, you know? And the treatment that she was getting done that day was the IPL laser, which we have done on her, like, many, many, many times. Literally the entire time that, like, I'm doing the treatment on her, we're talking, there was, like, no quiet points at all. Because we were just catching up, laughing, literally, like, cracking up laughing, okay? And I even, like, And I was even late to my next appointment that I had because her appointment ran over just because we were talking so much. And when the appointment was done, we left on good terms because we were talking the entire time of her appointment. Literally walked out of the door laughing. Even like one of my coworkers saw that. Then next day, I was off. It was my off day. One of my coworkers, who's also one of my friends, texted me and she was like, so you know the patient yesterday, so-and-so, she's calling the office and telling our boss, like fully complaining about you. And she also left us a 1-star review on Yelp. I was literally mind blown because of how our appointment went the day before. I'm like convinced that this lady is like not okay because the things that she was writing in her Yelp review did not happen in our appointment, like whatsoever. Like it was like we were at 2 completely different appointments. She said that I did a really bad service on her and that she feels like I had a grudge against her because she switched estheticians when I was on maternity leave. Why would I be mad about that, first of all? And second of all, who was my patient supposed to see when I was gone? Obviously, they had to go and see the other esthetician. And so, yeah, she said that she thought that I had a grudge on her, so I gave her a really bad appointment. And she said that during the appointment, I acted like a middle schooler, which is insane. And it's funny that she said that because she was talking to me about how she used to teach middle school and she hated it. So, yeah, she hates me, apparently. She also said that I didn't do a good laser treatment on her because I did not give her a mirror after the appointment was done. Yes, I did not give her a mirror, but it was not because I didn't do a good treatment. It was just because we were running so late, like into our appointment, that I just totally forgot. And we were just talking and whatnot. The way that she described that the treatment went is that I didn't do the laser strong enough on her. But then she kind of contradicts herself because then she said I burned her forehead. So if I didn't do the laser strong enough, then how could I burn your forehead? Because when you burn somebody, it's because you're doing too strong of a setting. And then when we asked her, like, oh, well, if you got burned, like, we would like to see it to make sure, like, how can we correct it? So we want to see a picture, or will you come in tomorrow so that, like, we can see it? And she's like, oh, no, I don't want to send any pictures in. The part that I was really irritated about, though, was the fact that, like, she said that she felt like I held a grudge against her because the appointment, everything was totally fine during the appointment. That is so crazy. And to me, if I acted like such a middle schooler and I was so unprofessional, why were you opening up to me about personal things? You know what I mean? I would never open up to anybody if they made me feel uncomfortable in any type of way. I don't know if she was trying to get, like, something for free. I don't know. I honestly think that, like, honestly, she's not okay because she had done something after that, that was kind of like weird and like you kind of like questioned it a little bit. She said that she would never be back. She's never coming to our office ever again. And she was back the following month, of course. I'm sorry, this lady was out of her mind. Like, I just could not believe that she fully made up that whole story because the appointment couldn't have went any better. Like, seriously, that appointment was one of, like, in my opinion, if she never, like, you know, left that review or said anything, I would have, like, totally left, like, thinking, oh, we're on good terms. Like, we're cool. Like, you know? She was psychotic. I'm sorry. She was psycho. Like, I don't want to call anybody that, but yeah, she's psycho. If you're not happy with, like, the service that you got, that's one thing. But to make up an entire story about how I was unprofessional and I was acting like a middle schooler, like, what does that even mean? And what bothered me the most was that she, what really bothered me was that there was a 1-star review on my job's, like, business. I don't like that, you know, like that's still, like, their business and that makes them look bad. And it was totally based on lies, which that really infuriates me. But I have learned in life that you can't make everybody happy.